Pictures up, quiet please.
Parker? What's on your mind?
I've thought about this all night. Whether what I'm about to do is the right thing or not.
Let me go in and talk to him alone, Dr. Mallory.
I did so only because he was working along lines contrary to the good of mankind.
Well, Rangers, looks as though Agents McKenzie and Hopkins are going to have to get to that hacienda and get there mighty fast.
To crush all opposition, make the most powerful man in the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Good Movie Hunting, the podcast where we discuss the best, worst, and our favorite films out there. I am your host, Sequoia, and today we have Danny. Danny, how are you?
I'm here. Living my best life.
With your best wife?
My second best wife.
Oh my god, who's your first?
JK. Rowling.
No, you're
No.
Those are famous last words, sir.
Speaking of which, R.I.P. Hagrid.
Oh no.
Hagrid passed away. Yeah.
Setting a solemn tone for our episode today.
Don't be sad. He wouldn't want you to be.
Like I said, I think I'm glad that he at least got to do the reunion. You know,
Yes.
What was it, the 20-year?
Don't remind me. Yeah, it was 20 years.
20-year reunion for Harry
Jesus
Potter.
Christ, man. That's...
I'm sure he was so happy to get to reunite with everyone. So that's good that he had that.
He said in the reunion, he said, "One day I'll be gone, but Hagrid will be here forever."
Isn't that everyone's dream? Just to have some piece of them immortalized, you know?
Yeah.
To history, so that way even if the material you is gone, the idea of you is not. Yes. Whew, that is way too deep to start off this episode. We're just gonna have to turn it off now.
Hey, at least we're talking about one of the funniest horror movies.
I guess one of the lighter ones out there. But before we get into it, let's go ahead and drop the socials here at the beginning. We have a Facebook page at Good Movie Hunting or at GMH Podcast, Twitter at GMH Pod, Instagram at GMH Podcast. Our email is goodmoviehuntingpod@gmail.com, and our YouTube is Good Movie Hunting Podcast. Today we are doing a movie to honor my father-in-law. It's one of his favorite things in the whole world.
Shout out, Pap.
Shout out, Pappy. Today we are doing Child's Play.
Yay.
Yay.
Good old Chucky. Chucky. Fucking Chucky. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
I love Chucky. He cracks me up.
He's an interesting character, that's for sure. I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, that little kid was a big part of it. He was so freaking cute.
He was adorable.
This little 6-year-old, main character.
With his...
Oh, God. Burnt toast.
And his milk all over everything.
Oh, God.
With his Will Byers hair.
The style of the times.
Fucking poor kids, man. Who said, "Oh, I know what haircut would be cute. I'm gonna dress you up like a fucking Goomba from Mario. You're gonna walk around looking like a penis head."
Okay, maybe if you had blonde hair, you got off a little easier. You didn't look so much like a mush
Shout out
head.
Rocky from Rocky Horror.
Oh, God. Did you ever have a bowl cut growing up? I feel like I've seen a picture of you with a bowl cut, but I could be making things up.
I think my mom knew better. I think my mom was like, I think she knew that just wasn't
A look that was gonna.
Well, my older cousin TJ had it,
ages.
and he, I think that deterred her.
She was like, "Damn, that kid's ugly."
Nope, I got the fucking the mullet. I had the mullet.
So much better, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't get me wrong. There are people who can really rock a mullet. Case in point, the guy from
Stranger Things. Billy. Yeah, he does a good mullet.
Woo!
Everybody loves some Billy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd love to look at him for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he redeems himself in the end, but
yeah.
anyways. Okay, so Child's Play received a 71% by critics and 63% by audience.
Pretty even.
Yeah.
Pretty even.
Yeah, I won't spoil what movie we're doing next week, but I can't believe that this movie got worse ratings than that other movie that we're covering.
Did it really?
I just don't get it. Yeah.
Did it really?
It was better.
Wow.
Not by a whole bunch, but it was a little better. So this movie was directed by Tom Holland.
Are you serious? Like they have the same name? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's not Tom Holland.
I know it's not Spider-Man.
But it's his
I don't
name's
even
Tom
think
Holland.
Spider-Man was semen then.
No, this was 88.
I wasn't semen then.
Yeah, no, not even I. We were not even a twinkle in the eye.
I know.
At this time. A screenplay by Don Mancini, John
Mancini. Don Mancini.
I can't tell you.
Get the fettuccine.
You gotta do this.
The Don Mancini.
The hand.
Hey, yo.
I can't tell you how many times I misspelled this name when I was typing it. It was like, I kept, go back, type it again. I was like, that's too many I's. I don't know where I fucked up.
The guy. The fucking guy.
The fucking guy. John Lafayette and Tom Holland. Story by Don Mancini. Produced by David Kirshner. Kirshner. I had an easier time with that name. Not so many I's. The budget was, and this was interesting, it gave me a range. It didn't give me like a straight up number. It said anywhere between 9 and 13 million.
It cost 10 more million than the movie that we just covered next week. And then, but
I think a big part of that other movie was costumes. The main thing they had to worry about this was Chucky, the doll. I mean,
the animations, I guess.
But a lot of the first part of the movie, you don't really see him moving around much. It's mainly Andy, the kid, saying, Chucky said this, or Chucky did that. And you don't really see a lot of him acting until like the middle and end of the movie.
You see a lot of camera point of view from knee height.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And I guess that was a good way for them to conserve their budget. But it was smart. It wasn't, it didn't take away from the movie, I don't think. They made up for it in other ways, plot with the actual people, characters.
The actors and whatnot.
The box office was 44.2 million. So not even close to that other movie we covered. We should stop mentioning that other movie. But yes, not even close, which is crazy to me. Do you want to do the fun facts?
I don't have, my phone's charging on the floor here.
You turd burglar.
Yeah.
You had one job.
I'm here for entertainment.
Okay, so for some fun facts for y'all today. So Chucky's name, so like where it derived from, it was the spirit of Charles Lee Ray that was put into the body.
Yes.
The name, do you know where the name came from?
No.
How
No.
Charles Lee Ray? So they picked this name, like they pulled from different famous serial killers. I say serial killers. Notorious killers. Charles Manson, so Charles. Lee Harvey Oswald, who killed John F. Kennedy, and James Earl Ray, who killed Martin Luther King. So they took
Charlie Lee Ray.
Yep, Charlie Ray.
Chucky.
Charlie Ray. Charlie Lee Ray, yes. The original working title for this movie was Batteries Not Included.
That's cool.
But before they could, run with it, it became known that Steven Spielberg was also making a movie with that same title. And so they were like, yeah. They said, we can't go toe-to-toe with the spiel.
No, hell no.
With the spiel.
Not on our first fucking intro. No way.
Yeah, no.
No way.
At which point in time, they changed it to Blood Buddy, which I guess didn't really like...
Do you want to be my blood buddy?
That's fucking disgusting. It sounds like... Ugh.
When in
like
doubt,
dirtier than just
bloody
blood.
trout.
Oh, God. They ended up deciding on Child's Play for this movie. But, most people just say Chucky, the Chucky movies. Chucky. A lot of people don't really call it by.
I think the third or fourth installment of they stopped doing Childs, but it's just Chucky.
Called Chucky.
It's Chucky this, Chucky that.
Yeah.
Bride of Chuck.
Seed of Chuck.
That one.
God,
that one probably the seed of Chucky probably has my favorite scene in all cinematic. One of my favorite scenes.
Well, don't tell me because we'll probably end up watching it.
Yeah.
So I haven't. I'll give this heads up. I don't think I've seen any of the movies in their entirety until now. I think I've seen pieces of different ones, but I've never seen one all the way through.
Well, it was hard to watch those types of movies as a Stormin' Mormon little girl.
Yeah. All right, so we'll jump on into the plot. The movie starts off with Detective Mike Norris, who is played by, what's that guy name? Sarandon. Mr. Sarandon, we'll call him, who plays Prince Humperdinck in Princess Bride. I saw him and I was like, Humperdinck.
Yeah, I was like, what?
He's not a connoisseur in The Princess Bride like I am. We watched that movie all the time growing up. We quoted it a lot.
My sister watched it a lot, but it's one of them, oh, she's watching, I'm going to play with my army man.
I feel like you would, identify with the kid in that movie. So I don't know if you know, but the way the movie is played out is that it's this little kid who's staying home from school because he's sick, and all he wants to do is watch TV and play video games while he's sick. But his grandpa comes to visit him, and his grandpa wants to read him a book, and he's Grandpa.
I am such a sativa head. Okay, you said Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I'm out here thinking Princess Diaries.
Oh my God.
Anne Hathaway. If I could, not my name is Montego Montoya or whatever.
Inigo Montoya.
Prepare to die.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yeah.
God, you totally butchered that. You're grounded.
I did. It's been a while.
Every
time I think of that guy, I just think of the dude from Criminal Minds now.
Yeah. That was wild for me to connect the dots on that one.
Yeah. Don't even look the same.
But yeah, I think you would identify with the little kid in the story. We should watch it with Jude. So Prince Humperdinck chases a serial killer into a into a toy store. Hey, it's true to his character in Princess Bride, because the whole movie he's on the chase, like looking for her, because she gets, well, it's all a ruse. He paid people to kidnap her, but that's besides the point. So he chases a serial killer named Charles Lee Ray into a toy store in Chicago. And I don't know if you knew this, but I recognize his weasel little face right away. The guy who plays Charles Lee Ray he's in Lord of the Rings. He plays Wormtongue, the guy who is like
whispering in
the king's ear.
No shot.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even pick up on that.
He's got that weaselly little face.
I think he stays the voice of Chucky too. For like ever.
I was like, wow, that's wild. He's just good at playing really shitty people. So after Prince Humperdinck chases Charles into the store, he shoots him, and Charles falls and knocks down all of these new dolls that are like really popular with kids called good guy dolls. And he grabs onto one of the dolls and he starts doing this crazy Latin ritual chant thing. And I'm like,
and he's really good at it. Like whenever I hear that chant, I know it's Chucky. Like,
yeah, you're like, damn, he was on point with that one. And at which time, as this is all happening, the store gets struck by cartoon lightning and it explodes.
Cartoon lightning.
That's literally what it is. I don't know what it is with these old movies and not being able to do realistic looking lightning.
Because computers were the size of this room.
I feel like by the time you're pretty much in the 90s. You're at the 90s at this point. You should have a better grip on things. I maybe would have expected this from a lower budget movie, but not, I mean, and it was this one scene. It's not like, whatever. I don't know. It's cartoon lightning strikes the store and it explodes. And at this time, Prince Humperdinck finds Ray's body next to the doll. And he's like, cool. That's great.
Cool.
Let's get him bagged up and the fuck out of here.
Get him back to the lab.
And put all these good guy dolls up and, in pristine conditions so that people will buy them. Then we're introduced to a widow named Karen, and she has a little 6-year-old, or he's turning 6, named Andy. And he's so freaking cute. The movie starts out with him and he's like making breakfast. He's burning the toast. Yeah. Spilling milk all over the floor when he's doing the cereal.
It was a shit show.
But he brings it to it's so cute. He brings it to his mom on his own birthday. Like, because he wants to make her happy, and he also.
He's buttering her up for a good guy doll.
Yes,
that's what he's doing.
So he really wants a good guy doll. They're all over the TVs, the commercials and everything.
Advertising back then, it was. You guys know how.
Oh, yeah. Everything your kids saw, they wanted. Like, just because it was on TV by default, they wanted it. Even if it wasn't a cool too. Yeah. But these good guy dolls are pretty expensive and she can't really afford it. But while she's at work one day, she works at like a department store or something. Her friend tells her, she comes and gets her and says, hey, there's this homeless guy out in the alley and he's like selling stuff and he has one of those dolls. He has a good guy doll. And so Karen runs out there and she's like, whatever, I'll take it. Like, I just want Andy to be happy. Yeah. So sweet, Also very creepy though. She's like, I think they ask him, they're like, where'd you get this? And he's like, it doesn't matter.
Do you want it or not?
Yeah, it's like, that's fishy right away.
Yeah, I fucking want it.
So
my kid wants to be happy.
It's his birthday. He deserves it. And he's an angel.
And he has mushroom hair.
He deserves compensation after that haircut. So he buys this good guy, or she buys the good guy doll from him, and she brings it home, gives it to Andy. The doll seems normal, nothing really amiss. And I think Andy says, he declares, he's like, okay, this doll's name is Chucky. But we quickly realize, oh yeah, he does. He says it. Yeah, because the dolls talk. That's right.
Yeah, I'm Chucky. Want to play? Yeah.
Which is probably a big part of the name too. Child's Play, and him saying that. So anyways, Karen has to do like a shift at work, and so Karen's best friend decides to stay, and babysit Andy. Yeah. And Andy keeps telling Maggie, he's like, hey, Chucky said this, or Chucky wants to do that. And it's like kind of creepy. And then there's that part where he's like, Chucky wants to watch the news.
Because of this shit that just happened with real IRL Chucky is on the news.
Yes, he wants to be like
the product of his demise is on the news, and he wants to know where the police are at
in the case
because they're going to suspect a doll,
right? But very, very distinguished little gentleman doll sitting there watching the evening
looking all
news.
Like my niece and shit.
And so it's Andy's bedtime. Maggie's like tucking them in and stuff, and Andy ends up getting in trouble because she's like, I said it's time for bed. Why is the Chucky doll out here with the TV on? And he keeps telling Maggie, he's like, I didn't do it. Like, Chucky wanted to watch, and Chucky this, Chucky that.
And she was like, yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah. And I get it that that's like just a theme of being a child at that time, is that your elders are always telling you like
they're not believing you, especially stuff that we know is like impossible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like, I don't know, sometimes you should like listen to your children. I think at least give them the benefit of the doubt, even if you don't believe them. Like, just the way she was talking to him, I was like, poor kid. He's like, he seems very earnest in what he's telling you, and you're like, shut up, go to bed.
Yeah.
So Andy goes to bed. Maggie's like cleaning up, and she hears like pitter pattering around the house, and you're seeing like from Chucky's point of view, you know, he's like running around. I think he's trying to get out. But he realizes that Maggie's becoming wise to him being there.
Moving around.
Yeah, and so he decides to attack her. And he, the good guy doll comes with like or I think it's sold separately actually, a tool set.
A little tool set.
And Danny informed me of this, but I had no idea that the hammers, like back then for kids, like they actually did put metal ones in there.
Yeah,
like,
they were light metal, super light metal, like 5 ounces or whatever.
It's wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, wild. You could even do damage with like a little wooden one, but you're giving a child a metal weapon. That's just a recipe for disaster. So he attacks her with the hammer, and like the impact and her stumbling and everything, she ends up falling out of the window and dying.
Yeah, she did. Hits the car. Boom.
Which is great. I don't think that's realistic, but whatever. It's a talking killer doll movie, so we'll roll with it.
He had to step in the flour though.
Yeah, his little
footprint.
His little tiny feet, which otherwise would be very cute to find. But the police see these like 2-3-inch footprints, and they're like, oh my god, it must have been
the 6-year-old.
The 6-year-old. And they're like, Andy, let me see your shoes. And then they're like astonished that there's no flour on them. It's like, what? He's not an infant. Like, yeah, he's little, but geez. So the police show up, they're searching the apartment and stuff, and like I said, they consider Andy a suspect for like no apparent reason other than the tiny footprints that they found in the flour. But Andy's like telling the cops, he's like, no, Chucky did it. Like Chucky, did it. He told me his name is Charles Lee Ray and all this stuff. And, once again, adults are like, nah. Shut up. Like, just stop talking forever. They just don't believe him at all. And Prince Humperdinck is very suspicious of this family. The next morning, Andy is supposed to be going to school. His mom drops him off, and as she's walking away, you see Andy, slips out of the doors, and
he has Chucky. He has Chucky with him, and so does some of the other kids at the school. You see some other kids have good guy dolls.
Apparently pretty common, like, for kids to bring their, like, stuffies or dolls to school.
I used to bring toys all the time to school.
I don't think we were allowed at my school.
Different generations.
Not really. I mean, we're only 3 years apart. It's not like a huge difference. Anyhow, it's probably cultural. I mean, here in Texas versus New Jersey. I don't know. So Chucky tells Andy that he needs to skip school and they need to take a train and go to downtown Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
So at this time, I'm like, what the hell? None of these people on this bus are like worried.
Look at this little kid.
About this little child who's about to go into like a dangerous part of downtown Chicago.
Just grabs his little doll and he's just on his way.
They're just like, okay, whatever. They don't pay him any mind. So little does Andy know that Chucky is leading him to his old partner in crime's house. His name's Eddie Caputo.
Eddie Caputo, huh?
And
Caputo.
Chucky's going there with the intention to kill him because basically Eddie left him to die. Like in the beginning, he was running towards him when he was injured in the getaway car, but Eddie didn't want to get caught, so he just
dipped.
Peeled out of there. So there's that part where like Chucky's inside the house and Eddie like starts shooting at him, and the little kid Andy starts running towards the house.
Yeah, like I'm gonna be a hero.
Yeah, he's so concerned about his doll. He's like, I'm gonna go towards the danger.
Yeah.
Very ballsy little 6-year-old.
And Chucky, he took the stove and turned on the gas and blew out the pilot light, and then there was like a massive explosion that would not be that drastic in reality of an exploding like that. Your kitchen would be pretty shot, and maybe one other room depending on where the stove was, but the whole house is exploding like that. No.
And I don't know how like they do that big of an explosion, and somehow Andy's okay and Chucky's not fucked up yet.
Yeah.
Like I don't get how that happened.
Yeah.
So again, police are like, "Oh my God, this kid was at the scene of this thing. He must have did it. He must have."
Another body is found around this kid.
They're not like thinking, "Oh, there's something else afoot," or maybe this kid knows something. We should question him.
Yeah.
They're just automatically like, "He's a suspect. We're gonna put him in a psychiatric facility." A 6-year-old, mind you, who's not exhibiting any other like worrisome behaviors. They're just like, bad things are happening around you, so bye-bye.
Bye now.
We'll put you away. And all this time, Andy keeps saying, "No, it's Chucky. Chucky's doing this. Listen to me." And so I think at this point, his mom is kind of like, okay, something's
not right.
Like, I trust my son, and he keeps saying something's weird about Chucky, so I'm going to look into this. So she goes home, and she's like looking at the box that Chucky came in, and when she's messing with it, the batteries fall out, and they look at it, and as she looks at the box, and it says like batteries like included, but like he's not already packed with them, they come in the box, but you have to install them. And she's like, so just to be sure, like, because she bought this secondhand, she's like, I'm gonna check and make sure. And she, her hands are all shaken, and she undoes his little thing on his back, and sure enough, there's no batteries in him. And she's like, holy shit. And all hell breaks loose.
Doesn't she like grab him and was like, I'm going to throw you in this fireplace right now if you don't tell me what's going on? And he's like trying to act like a doll still, and then like out of nowhere he's like, I'll kill you, you fucking cunt. I'll fucking kill you, you fucking whore.
And they bleep out the C word because we were watching it on Spectrum. But she has him by the fireplace, and she like gets the matches and stuff, and she's threatening to burn him. And
then he bites her.
And then there's that funny part where she's trying to threaten him, and she starts to call him a bastard, but she like stops herself. And I'm like, homegirl, let loose. Like, you're sitting here yelling at this doll alone in your living room. Like,
nobody needs to know.
It's fine. Call him a bastard.
If he's not real, the only
boy.
person that knows you're absolutely insane is you.
Yeah. It's fine. Don't worry. So yeah, he comes alive. Like Danny said, he gets violent, bites her, runs away and stuff. And this whole big thing is happening. It kills me too, because he like scurries away from her, gets under the couch. Oh, he rolls under it. She drops him, and he like rolls under the couch. Yep. But she decides to get on his level. Like, the one advantage that she has is her size. I mean, she's a full-grown adult human.
Yeah.
And she decides to get down on all fours to like see where he went. I'm like, bitch, what?
I'm picking up the whole fucking couch, throwing it.
Or get something, put a broom under there and whack him.
I wonder if he has like, he retains his like human strength.
I don't think so. I don't know for sure. After seeing just one movie, I mean, maybe more is revealed in the other ones, but so Karen goes to Prince Humperdinck, and she's like, hey, this is what happened. Look, here's the bite on my arm. And obviously he's a penis head, and he doesn't believe her. He's like,
you're a kook.
Yeah, like, dolls can't come alive. I don't know who bit you. You probably bit yourself with your baby woman teeth. So Karen, she's like, I'm gonna do my own detective work then. And she tracks down the guy who sold her the doll, and she's like trying to get more information from him, but it turns south, and he like tries to assault her. And Humperdinck does one good thing and shows up and stops him. And he's like, okay, now I'm on board. And the man admits that he did take the doll from that store. And then that's when Prince Humperdinck is like, okay, that's crazy, because the kid said that Chucky's name is Charles Lee Ray. I killed Charles Lee Ray at that same toy store that this doll came from.
I heard him do some satanic chant. Yeah,
so he's like, okay, maybe something's going on.
Something's afoot.
Exactly. So he brings Karen home, and then I think he's headed back to the precinct or something. And at that time, we find out that Chucky is hiding out in the back seat, and he decides to go covert and attack Prince Humperdinck, and tries to stab him in the butthole from under the seat. He has a knife, and he's like, that part, oh my god, it was killing me. So the car ends up crashing and all sorts of crazy stuff, and Chucky ends up escaping. I went through all that hard work for nothing. And
then the following day, right, they is when Andy they did the scene with Red.
Oh god. Well, so first Chucky goes and he finds so apparently he had a voodoo instructor. This part didn't really make any, I mean, yeah, it was like they did it so
they're answering how he knew this mumbo jumbo voodoo.
But still very strange that he has, it's like having a personal trainer, but it's a personal voodoo instructor.
Personal witch doctor.
But the guy is apparently a good guy, which, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that there's such a thing as good voodoo. But, okay. So this voodoo guy, he tells Chucky that, like, basically the longer his soul is in this body, the more he's gonna actually turn into the doll. Like, that it's not just gonna be a temporary thing, it's gonna be permanent. And so Chucky freaks out. He's like, no, you're gonna tell me how to fix this. Like, I am gonna be in the body of a human. And so he ends up torturing the voodoo guy with his own voodoo doll. Why would you even tempt fate with that and make yourself into a voodoo doll? And
so then the voodoo guy tells him, he's like, the only way to do it is you have to get the first person you revealed yourself to when you were the doll is the only person you can transfer your body into.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's like, hell yeah. He says, hell yeah, I get to be 6 again. And I'm like, I hope you're being sarcastic. Like, I don't know if that's great going from serial killer to 6-year-old. You don't have any ounce of power like that you thought you once had. But okay.
But you do get to live a second life.
Yeah, I guess so. He's getting kind of a fresh start.
Yeah. He could do good this time if he wants to.
So Chucky kills he wounds the voodoo guy and he dips. He has to go find Andy. And Karen and Humperdinck are a step behind. They find the voodoo guy, and the voodoo guy tells them how to kill Chucky, that they must strike him in his heart.
Yep.
And meanwhile, while they're, hearing this man's last words, Chucky shows up at the psychiatric hospital where Andy is at, and there's that crazy scene where he's kills the doctor. He puts the electroshock shit on his head, and
Andy's just watching his guy just get shocked to death.
His his eyes fucked. Bust out of his head. Oh my god, that
was some good prosthetics. That was good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good scene. So Andy runs away. He knows, his mom had told him before, like, if you're ever in trouble, always go home. Yep. And tells him where the spare is. And so he goes home. Chucky's following him, getting ready to possess him. He is like starting his Latin chanting again. And that's when Karen and Humperdinck show up.
Oh my God, his name's Sarandon or something. Humperdinck.
His name is Detective Norris, but heretofore to known as Humperdinck.
Oh my God.
So the whole, shit hits the fan. They're all fighting. And of course, Humperdinck is the first one to get wounded. He gets stabbed in the leg and he's like, I'm out.
And he's rendered useless the rest of this fight.
He's like, I know I'm a cop, but like, this really hurts, man. I gotta go sit down for a minute.
He's literally rendered useless for the rest of the fight.
He sits down and then it's like, you don't even see him for the rest of the fight scene. It's like, okay.
Some prince you are.
So Karen and Andy have to do this all alone, and so they try to put him in the fireplace and light him on fire. And at first it seems like that worked, But then I guess they're like, oh shit, we're supposed to get him in his heart, and we didn't. We just made him look absolutely fucking terrifying. This melted doll is, slowly walking towards us down the hallway
with one arm.
Yeah, and so Karen starts to like shoot Chucky, and she's like slowly like picking off his limbs one by one, and I think at the end he's like just crawling with one arm or something like that.
Then she blows off his fucking head.
And she blows off his head, which I feel like, honestly, that should be sufficient. Like, I mean, if, like, we just got finished watching the Angel show. If Angel can be killed by either striking his heart or decapitation, I feel like that should work for Chucky, too, Yeah. He's just a goddamn doll.
But, yeah, I mean, look what Michael Myers has been through.
Yeah. God, don't even get us started on Michael Myers. Absolutely unkillable. Well, that remains to be seen because the new movie
came out today. I think we're recording this on the 14th. Yes.
Anywho, so Chucky gets his fucking head, his dome shot off by Karen, and at this time, Humperdinck's partner Jack shows up, who has been absolutely useless and ugly as fuck this whole movie. There's nothing going for him.
And completely stupid. Just dumb.
Like the first thing they tell him when he comes in, they're like, don't touch Chucky. Do not touch the doll. And he picks it up. He picks up his head and brings it in there.
He's like, oh, ha, ha, ha.
He's like so funny. Like.
And then guess what? Chucky's not dead. He busts through the air vent with his one arm, and he's choking the crap out of the detective's
like,
partner.
Nasty ass Hulk Hogan mustache looking motherfucker.
At that point in time, you're rooting for Chuck. Get him. Get him. Get that motherfucker.
Just one more guy. Just kill this guy,
just
please. And so he's strangling Jack, and Karen ends up like tearing Chucky off of him, and then finally Humperdinck becomes useful and shoots Chucky in the heart. That he does.
And
his
that's
second
the only
good thing.
blood you see come out of Chucky is the heart.
Yes, because it was like the one true part
Organic,
of him, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
So he kills him, and then Jack is like the stupid Hulk Hogan dumbass partner, ugly guy, says, no one's gonna believe us. This is crazy. And like as they're leaving the room, they turn back, and Andy turns back and looks at Chucky's body, and roll credits. That's crazy to me because this movie, ended up being like a huge franchise. I thought that
coming back from that.
Yeah, like they said that's the one true way to kill him. So how the fuck's this dude coming back? I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the second one to see. But I felt like I'm sure that when they made that first movie, they were like, well, we don't know if we're gonna get to do a sequel, so maybe we should kind of leave it like final. But also it's like, hey, you never know what's gonna happen. Leave it somewhat open.
Yeah.
So that was Child's Play. I give this movie 7 butthole stabs out of 10.
What? Butthole stabs. Oh God, what do I give it? I give it. I'm gonna go with you. 7 out of 10. Good guys.
Good guys. Bad guys. Bad guy. Just one. The rest are good.
7 out of 11 good guys. 1 bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good math.
7-11.
We math here.
Do we?
750-11. In the Utah snow.
750-11. It's not the lyrics.
No.
But I don't care.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Pappy, I hope that you especially enjoyed this episode.
Should I let the listeners know?
Sure, yeah. Tell them the Pappy story. We should have set it up top. That would have been funny. But hopefully y'all listen to the end to hear this really funny story.
So when that first came out, my dad was younger and whatnot, obviously. And he had buddies that were fire department buddies because my dad was a firefighter, and when he was out on a call, somebody decided to take Chucky doll and tape it to the roof of Pappy's back seat. So my dad's a smoker, so he's flying down whatever road on the way home with the windows down, and Chucky comes undone. Like, he didn't notice Chucky for like however long, and Chucky comes undone and flies into the front seat and lands on my dad's lap. So ever since then, my dad has been petrified of Chucky. But give him a break. Like, you know, like Chucky attacked Prince Humperdinck or Humperdinck.
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 I hardly know her.
Yeah, so he
I think you broke the recording.
So yeah, give Pappy a break.
I think the force of Daniel's laughter just broke our
Yeah.
microphone, so I hope that story was worth it.
All right, you should close out before I break everything.
Okay. So yeah, we have a Facebook page at Good Movie Hunting or at GMH Podcast, Twitter at GMH Pod, Instagram at GMH Podcast. Our email is goodmoviehuntingpod@gmail.com. And our YouTube is Good Movie Hunting Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you have a very thrilling month of October. Bye-bye.
Humperdicks.
Pictures up, quiet, please.
Parker? What's on your mind?
I've thought about this all night. Whether what I'm about to do is the right thing or not.
Let me go in and talk to him alone, Dr. Mallory.
I did so only because he was working along lines contrary to the good of mankind.
Well, Rangers, looks as though Agents Mackenzie and Hopkins are going to have to get to that hacienda and get there mighty fast.
You crush all opposition. Make the most powerful